isn't clicking in your offer or maybe in your business, but you're not quite sure if making a big pivot or a restructuring or shift within your business is going to be like the necessary right steps, then today's episode is going to be for you, because I'm going to walk you through 6 signs that it may be time for you to make a major pivot in either your business or in your service offer. So for you guys who may or may not know me, my name is Alicia Robertson. I am a wife, mama, I'm a business coach, and also the founder of the Purpose to Service Academy, which is our 12-month group coaching program for established coaches and service-based entrepreneurs who are needing help with creating and launching their signature offer, and also serving their clients with less stress and more intention. So I love talking about pivoting. If you guys have caught the last 2 podcast episodes that I put out, I celebrated my 9-year 9-year business anniversary, I guess you can say. So 9 years ago, as of a few weeks ago, I launched my very first business. And in those 2 recent podcast episodes, I talked about, in the first episode, I talked about like my 9-year journey and like all of the pivots that I had to make, from being someone who was stuck in a call center job that she absolutely hated, to launching my then online shop where I was making and selling jewelry, and all of the pivots and shifts that I needed to make in order to get me to where I am today. And that is being a coach to other coaches and service-based entrepreneurs. So I talked a lot about pivoting, and I fully believe that pivoting is necessary in entrepreneurship. One of those things being, you don't want to be stuck in a space that is no longer serving you. It's no longer serving you personally. It's no longer serving you professionally. It's not going to help you to get to that ultimate goal that you have set for yourself. And then also, I just fully believe that we change. We as people change. You know, you can wake up tomorrow and decide maybe this isn't what you're being called to do. And like, if that's something that you feel very sure and certain in, then that is okay. So again, if you have been feeling like something just isn't sitting well in, whether it be your service offer, whether it be in your business overall, whether it be in like your overall business model, then maybe it is time for you to make some necessary shifts or pivots in order for you to get back on track and make sure that you are aiming for, you know, that big goal that you have set for yourself. So I'm going to go through the 6 signs that it is time for you to pivot in either your business or in your offer. So the first sign is your offer is still very broad. So this is one of the things that I teach within the Purpose to Service Academy. It's how to really narrow down your service offer into making sure that it's focused on serving one very, very specific person and one very specific pain point that you're also solving. So if you are still offering a service that is like, oh, I help all business owners, literally whoever is willing to pay me, or I want to design websites for, you know, literally anyone who is looking to, you know, create some type of online brand, then you're going to find it to be really hard for you to market yourself. You're going to find it really hard to create content. You're going to find it really hard to attract premium clients who are going to not only be willing to pay you what you are wanting to charge, but also who are going to be a good client and someone that you're going to be really excited to work with. So we help you to do that within the Purpose to Service Academy and make sure that your offer is like very niche down. But again, if you are still trying to be someone who works with everyone, then it is definitely time for you to pivot, and maybe not necessarily pivoting in what you're offering, but at least pivoting into who you are working with and making sure that you're very, very clear and very, very specific as the type of person that you're working with, and also the type of, or the pain point that you are wanting to help them to solve. So again, if you are still feeling all over the place, you're just marketing and selling to literally anyone who is willing to listen or anyone who is willing to pay you, then it is time for you to go ahead and pivot. And again, not necessarily pivoting in what you're offering, but who you're offering it to and the problem that you're going to solve. So we are going to eliminate these super vague, broad offers in 2021 and just get very specific as to, again, who it is that you want to work with. So the second sign is your business model no longer fits your lifestyle. So a few years ago, I decided to stop one-on-one coaching. One reason because I was really, really burnt out from the entire process of it, and I couldn't do it anymore. But also because I had recently found out that I was pregnant, and I knew that in order to be able to give my child the attention that I wanted to give her, in order to be present, in order to, really figure out how to mom while also running a business as well, I knew that I needed to shift my business model to adjust to how my lifestyle was changing. I think a lot of us are afraid to pivot and are afraid to make those changes because we think that, oh my gosh, we're going to lose clients, our business won't be the same. But we are building intentional businesses that fit around the life that we desire and not the other way around. One of the big issues I see with a lot of coaches and a lot of service providers is that they are building these big businesses and then trying to figure out how to fit their life around that, or how to make their life work with this big thing that they have created. And while having a successful business is amazing, having a big business is amazing, having all these clients is amazing, if it is not serving the life that you want to live, if you are still, super extremely burnt out and tired, if you can't even take a break to go on vacation, if you can't spend the time that you desire with your family or with your children or with your friends, or just doing the things that you really desire to do in your personal life, then having that big brand, having that big business isn't going to be worth it. So it may be time for you to shift if your current business model, so how you are selling or what you are selling, if it is no longer serving your lifestyle, then it may be time for you to pivot. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to burn everything down and completely start from scratch. It could be how I did. I went from, one-on-one coaching to doing a membership to now doing a group coaching program, because I wanted to take what I knew and what I was really good at, which is business and coaching, and making that fit into the lifestyle that, that I was shifting into and that I was changing into. And you really can't be afraid to make those shifts and make those changes if your life is demanding that happen. Like, I don't know what I would have done one-on-one coaching if I was trying to do that and also parent a very new 1-year-old during the pandemic. Like, I don't know what I would have done. I don't know what I would have done if all of my income was reliant on those one-on-one coaches when I was really struggling with postpartum depression. So like, I knew that my business model needed to change, how my life was changing. And that doesn't mean that you can't go back eventually. I doubt I will go back to one-on-one coaching, but that doesn't mean that isn't an option. So if your business model is no longer serving your current lifestyle, and however that may look for you in this season that you're in, then that may be a sign that it's time for you to pivot that business model into something different so that you can still do what you love, but in just a different capacity. So the third sign is if what you're doing no longer excites you, it may be time to move. So if you are waking up every single morning, like dreading going to work, if you are waking up every morning just bored with your clients, bored with your to-do list, like nothing is exciting you, it may be time to pivot. And I think two, you should also maybe just think about what it is that is causing that boredom, or what is causing that, not excitement that you're experiencing. So digging deep into saying, okay, if I'm not excited, what is it in my business that's going to make me excited? Is it me changing who I am working with? Is it maybe shifting my offer, or how I'm, putting my offer out into my world? Maybe I need to shift how I am marketing this thing. Maybe you just need to take a break. Maybe you're, really hitting close to burnout. But if what you're doing no longer is exciting you, if what you're doing is feeling more of like a burden than it is a business, then maybe it is time for you to pivot. And I want to say too that you are not going to like what you do in your business every single day. Just because you're running your business, just because you're doing something that you do love, that doesn't mean that every single day is going to excite you. So you're going to have days where you're just like, I don't feel like doing this today. I want to go back to bed. But if every day is constantly like that, if you're no matter what you're trying to do, if nothing is exciting you, if nothing isn't getting you hyped, if nothing is making you want to sit down and actually dig into what you are working on or dig into like your to-do list, then that may be, it's time for you to go ahead and shift into something different. And again, it doesn't have to mean shifting into a completely different industry or, offering a completely different offer. It can be something as simple as just switching up your marketing or switching up how you are selling to your clients or switching up who you are selling to, or maybe just creating some type of new offer that is going to like align more with what you are currently passionate about and what really is getting you excited. So don't feel like, you have to be stuck in this boredom for forever. If you've taken a break, if you've realized that this just isn't just a bad day or maybe even just a rough week, then it may be time for you to go ahead and shift into something that's going to get you excited again. All right, so number 4, or the fourth sign, is where what you're doing no longer serves you or is getting you closer to your ultimate goal. So last year I announced that I was going to move away from running my business under the Living Over Existing brand. And I talked about how while I love Living Over Existing and what I love, that it stood for, it no longer served what I felt like my ultimate goal was. And I felt like moving towards working under my personal brand was going to help me to hit that goal of being able to work directly with more clients and being able to freely market myself and eventually being able to write more books. And I knew I needed to build my personal brand in order to hit those goals. So while Living Over Existing was working, while it was a great brand, a great name, like all of that was perfect, it just no longer served where I was trying to go or what I was trying to get to or what I was trying to accomplish. So it was important for me to make that shift so that I wasn't staying stagnant in one place, so that I wasn't being stuck in one place, and that I could make progress towards what I feel like I am ultimately being called to do. So if what you're doing, no longer serves you, if it no longer is getting closer to your ultimate goal, then you have to have the guts and the bravery really to say, okay, even though this thing could be working, even though I enjoy this thing, it's not aligning with what I feel like I'm being called to do. It's not going to get me closer to what I'm being called to do. So let me go ahead and pivot and shift now. And again, that doesn't mean that you can never go back. It doesn't mean that you can't do these things, later on down the line, but you need to be on a right track of taking steps towards your ultimate goal, and anything that doesn't serve you in that way or anything that won't help you to get to that should be either put on the back burner or should be put away. So that's the number 4 sign. So the 5th sign is you've hit a cap in your income or in your growth. So if you've gotten to a point where it's like, oh my gosh, I can't get past $5,000 per month, or I can't move past, getting 5,000 Instagram followers, or if you just feel like you've hit a cap and no matter what you're doing or how you're marketing or how you're putting yourself out there, you can't go beyond that cap, then it may be time for you to pivot. So it could be a time for you to pivot in how you're selling. So how you are bringing up those sales conversations, how you are addressing your clients' objections or potential clients' objections, like how you're creating that content and structuring your call to action. So those things in your business may need to pivot or shift in order for you to go beyond that cap that you've hit. And then also in how you're marketing yourself, and not necessarily in, how you're creating content, but or where you're creating content, more of how you are going to work to expand your audience. So I think in business, a lot of us forget that if we're not also expanding our audience, that eventually our current audience, or our email list, our Instagram followers, our Twitter followers, wherever you have an audience, eventually you're going to sell to literally everyone in your audience who is willing to buy. Or, some people in your audience are there, but their intentions are never to buy from you, which is okay too. But eventually you're going to hit a cap of how much you can sell in your current audience size. So it's important for you to figure out different ways of how you can market yourself that is going to be more focused on like growth and expanding your audience. So like, how can you get in front of new people? How can you get more people who are qualified onto your email list who may have not have been there before? So you need to think about how you can shift in the way that you're expanding your audience so that you can move past that cap or move past that lack of growth that you have probably been experiencing. That's one of the things that I have realized over the past few months, that I need to really work on, like the growth and expanding my audience. So while yes, getting new clients is amazing, I would love to have more people inside of our program, but I also need to make sure that I am getting new people into my audience and kind of leading them into my program so that I am not just consistently selling to people who either have purchased already or who may just, love my free content and have no intentions of purchasing. So just thinking about how you can shift in either how you're selling or like how you're marketing in a way to expand your audience. All right, so the sixth and final sign is if your gut is telling you to move, then it may be time to move. So especially for my women out there, yes, men listen to their gut, but I think women are more in tune with their gut. But everything can be right in your business. I'm talking about the money that you're making, the way that you're marketing yourself, the opportunities that you're getting. So everything can be amazing and working in your business. And that doesn't necessarily mean that what you're doing is going to still be a good fit for you. So going back to the idea of what you're doing is no longer serving you, or what you're doing no longer is going to help you to hit your ultimate goal, or you're not just excited about what you're doing anymore. Everything can be going right in your business, like perfectly fine. And your gut can be telling you it's time to shift. It's time to move. It's time for you to do something else. Literally every single step in my 9-year journey as an entrepreneur has pretty much ended that way. I was making and selling jewelry. I rebranded my shop and everything was going fine. And I felt that gut feeling that it was time for me to shift into something new, which then I knew was coaching. And, everything was kind of going well with me blogging and coaching and doing that. And I knew I had that gut feeling again that it was time to shift into something new. So your gut, I'm telling you, it may sound like a little woo-woo, but your gut will tell you when something just isn't right and it's time for you to shift into something else. So you really have to learn to tap into that. Everything can be going amazing in your business. Everything can be perfectly fine in your business, but that doesn't necessarily mean, again, that it is right for you or is that it's something that you should continue to do, basically. So if your gut is telling you to move, then I encourage you to dig deeper into that and to explore what that looks like for you. I know for me, my gut, I literally feel it in my gut, like that gut feeling. But I also know it's time for me to shift because around that same time that I start feeling like that gut feeling, I know that something else has caught my interest, or I'm finding success in something else in my business, or I'm more excited or I'm more interested in doing something else, outside of what I have originally been doing. So I know by taking a step back that, okay, this is my gut telling me that it's time for me to move. It's time for me to shift into something new. So you really do just have to be aware of what your body and what your mind is trying to tell you to do, because it can very well be telling you, girl, it's time to pivot. It's time to move. And if you keep ignoring it, it's just going to get worse. It's just going to get more intense. So you really do have to take a step back and just think about what it is that is pushing you into that new direction. All right, you guys. So those are my 6 signs that it is time for you to pivot. So number 1 is if your offer is still very broad and it's time to niche down some more. Number 2 is your business model no longer fits your lifestyle. Number 3 is if what you're doing no longer excites you. Number 4 is if what you're doing no longer serves you or is getting you closer to your ultimate goal. Number 5 is if you have hit an income or hit a cap in your income or in your overall business growth. And number 6 is if your gut is simply just telling you it's time to move into something new. So again, I teach you how to get very clear on a lot of these things with inside of the Purpose to Service Academy. So that is our 12-month group coaching program for established coaches and service-based entrepreneurs. And what we really do is we help you to get clear on like what your one signature offer will be. We help you to put it together. We help you to niche it down to make sure you're targeting one very specific person. And then we take you through our entire process of launching that offer out into the world, and then also serving your clients with less stress and more intention as well. She says, number 2, is it for me? Yes. I've experienced that quite a few times. If your business model is no longer fitting your lifestyle, like it's time for you to pivot into something new. Yeah, you guys. So we go through that again in the Purpose to Service Academy of how to build that service-based business around the life you desire. So right now, the price will be increasing in about a week or so. So if you are wanting to get in on the 12-month coaching program, then definitely head over to the link in my bio to learn more and to sign up. You can also go to purposetoservice.co. I have a URL for it. You can also go to purposetoservice.co, but I would absolutely love to be able to just walk you through my process of creating and launching your signature service offer, and then teaching you how to build that sustainable, like service-based business that doesn't lead you to intense burnout or, again, not serving the lifestyle that you have. All right, you guys. So if you have any questions for me, definitely you can shoot me a DM if you're over here on Instagram. If you are watching on Twitter, you can DM me as well. And if you are watching on YouTube, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you think. All right, you guys, I will talk to you next week.